Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the Otsego City Council meeting. Tonight is Monday, September 13th. Audra, can you have the record show that all council members are present along with city staff, which would be the attorney, the planner, and the engineer. At this time, we are going to go around and do a mic check. Audra requested that, so I will start on my left.
Jeff, can you hear me? This is Jeff. Can you hear me?
Brittany Morse. Audra Etzel.
Adam Flaherty.
Sabrina Hilly.
Dave Kendall, Ron Wagner,
Dan Licht.
Gina Gady.
Tom Darkenwald.
All right. At this time, we will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The first item of our meeting is our open forum. This is the portion where you can come to the podium, state your name and address, and limit comments to 5 minutes or less. Would anyone like to speak at this time? Can be on anything.
name is Bruce Ness, and I'm from Heritage Hills. And I would like to know the status of the drainage for people that have drainage for their gutters for the new project in their area, what they plan on doing.
Okay. And we do have that under the public hearing. Ron, will you be able to address that at that time? Or would
Okay.
you like to discuss it now?
I guess. Do you have further question? I mean,
Whether
I
we're
don't-
gonna raise the drainage or they're just leaving it property owners like they have it now. Cause I talked to Rich over there and he thought maybe they might be raising the pipes up a little bit higher so it has an even flow over the gutter. So I don't know any more about it than that.
I guess that right now they're out there putting topsoil in.
Yeah.
Bringing it up to the gutter.
When
pipe.
they've done
Is
that, yep.
Is that your concern? I guess I'm not following.
Well,
that.
my pipe is a little lower than that.
Oh,
It's down.
your, is it a sump line or what is? the-
No, it's from the
Oh,
gutter.
from your
to the
gutters.
drain, yeah.
And it daylights below the curb right now and it would need to come
It's
up.
down in the ground a little bit, sinks down, yeah.
Okay. I think Rich and I and you will have to discuss that.
Okay.
At some point and try to figure out how we can rectify that. Yeah, okay.
So Ron, you'll be in touch with Bruce and get his
Yes.
information and
Yes.
address his drainage issue.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
just a quick deal for Mr. Ness. Mr. Ness, could you get your contact info to our city engineer, Ron Wagner?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you around tomorrow morning? Oh, okay. Okay. Yep, you will.
All right. Thank you for coming in, Ron. Hopefully you can work something out and figure that out for Mr. Ness.
Yep.
All right. Any other comments? All right, we will close the open forum and move on to consider our agenda for approval. Does anyone have anything that they would like to add or delete at this time? No one has any changes, then a motion would be in order.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Brittany.
I'll move to approve the agenda as written.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Brittany, seconded by Tina. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Moving on to our consent agenda, a motion would be in order.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Brittany.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda as written.
I will second it. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item 4 is our public hearing. This is an assessment for the 2021 street renewal project in Heritage Hills. I'm going to be turning this over to Adam for his opening presentation and remarks.
All right. I did the agenda wrong, so I'm going to turn it over to Ron and then I can go over
Okay.
some of the assessment terms. at the end.
Okay.
But so Ron has a PowerPoint here to go through and then we will conduct the public hearing and then the resolution would be the council action.
All right, Ron.
All right, thank you, Mayor. This is the 2021 street improvement project on our capital improvement plan where we go around and rate all the cities in the streets in the city and determine which ones are in worst need to have them improvement. And this year it was Heritage Hills area, which is shown on the map. There's 3 streets within there and 35 lots. And that is the proposed assessed properties are all outlined in red. On the next slide. What we had there was a road that was put in 24 years ago in 1997, 3.5 inches of asphalt over 10 inches class 5. We had 2 seal coats during that time, and after that, it got to be so bad that we already halted doing seal coats. It was 34 foot wide with bituminous curb and storm sewer in it. The bituminous curb has deteriorated to a point that it needed repair, and we went with, I'll show in a slide or two, concrete curb instead for longevity. It had a 42 out of 100, which was one of the worst PCIs in the city, pavement condition index. And it had lots of issues with the existing pavement. So on the next slides, we have photos of how it looked before. And as you can see, there's raveling and a lot of patches. And you can barely see that there's a bituminous curb on the edge of it. It's gotten worn down over the years. All these photos show pretty poor street condition prior to us coming in there and doing the street improvement. And then in the following photos, we have some that were just from today, prior to the rain. And you can see that here what we've done is we've reclaimed the pavement and mixed it with the gravel below and then added 3.5 more inches of asphalt over that. We fixed any of the storm sewer that needed, and everything has concrete curb in it. So now we have much better drainage. Concrete curb can pass water across it at a much flatter slope than asphalt. And also asphalt has issues with water standing on it or continually rolling over it. It starts to deteriorate. So we put in 3.5 inches and 2 lifts, and now we're at the point in the project where we're doing the restoration, bringing the topsoil, the seed. That's happening in the next few days. And then this week yet, the final lift of asphalt will be put on, and that project will be pretty much complete. There might be some punch list items, but we'll be at the point where we're done. So here's some photos that were from around noon today, where they're at. Putting the topsoil, getting it level with the curb. The next day or two, they're going to be sweeping and cleaning that up. And well, it might be cleaned up from the rain, probably helped to wash some of that off the curb and off the street. But these photos all show that it's very far along and the street looks in very good condition. And of course, the yards also look pretty good. You know, we had to disturb a couple feet behind the curb, but it's minimal. And we've been working with the homeowners on their access in and out. And it went really well. I thought it went better than most of our reconstruction projects, and hope to continue that process as we go. So then Adam can go into the assessment policy.
Sure. So the assessment policy, we've got a total estimated project cost of $681,276. So our policy outlines that 20% of the total project cost will be assessed to each individual property up to a maximum of $1,000, which in this case is the estimated assessment. The funding sources are the 35 properties that Ron mentioned, each at $1,000 per property, for a total of $35,000. And then the remaining funds for the project come from the City Pavement Management Fund, which includes funding sources such as property taxes, MSA, street maintenance funding from gas taxes, and then in the future franchise fees as well. The assessment roll here, just listing out the 35 individual properties and parcel numbers included in your packet tonight. These were the names and addresses used for noticing individual letters to the property owners, and staff also noticed this in the Star News in accordance with state statute. The terms of the assessment, residents have a couple different options. They are either able to pay this in full prior to November 15th and incur no interest charges. If they choose to amortize that, it is sent to Wright County. It is placed on their property taxes, so that's how they pay it in future years with their property taxes. And there is a 2.4% interest rate in accordance with the city's assessment policy as well. There's an estimated amortization schedule on the right-hand side of the screen showing you what the annual payments would estimated be, and then a monthly cost of just under $10 over the life of the full 10 years, if that's the way the residents choose to pay. Again, here's just another map showing those 35 individual properties. And again, as Ron mentioned, the project's on track, nearly complete, on budget. And so staff is recommending the council approve a resolution adopting the assessment goal in addition to holding the public hearing.
Great, thank you. All right, we will open the public hearing. This is the portion where you can come to the podium, state your name and address. And again, this is a public hearing regarding the Heritage Hills Street Renewal Project. Would anyone like to speak at this time? I'll ask again for any comments. And one more time. Hearing none, we will close the public hearing, bring it back up to council for discussion up here to consider our resolution. Jeff,
You walked through it today. How's the driveway entrances? Remember we discussed, how cement would work and then the repaving of the driveways. Are you satisfied the way everything looks?
Yeah, they turned out really well. Quite a few of them actually worked with the contractor to have them replaced. I think there was over half a dozen of them. So more than 20% are taking up the contractor, not just replacing the apron area where down by our right of way, but all the way, the whole entire driveway. So kind of a renewal of sorts for that also through that neighborhood. So it really looks good.
And they did saw cut, not the other way to,
Yep.
do the anti-cracking. Okay,
Yep, saw cut.
great. Thank you.
any other questions or comments? Tom?
Madam Mayor, Adam, you said the total project cost was $681,276. Under our old policy that we have had for many, many years, 50% was always passed on to the benefiting properties. In this case, would have been the 35 houses. That would have been a total of $9,732.51 if we were to operate under the old policy.
That's
Right.
accurate.
And under the new policy, it's $1,000 per lot. So it's a great reduction from, I guess, $81.10 a month, not including interest, to $9.49 a month under the $1,000 per lot, including interest over 10 years.
I would agree.
And I would also add that this improvement should last. I guess a question for Ron, this improvement should last how many years?
I'd say a minimum of 30 before we'd have to put the probably like a micro surface on it this time instead. With the concrete curb there, it really provides an edge and a place for the water that's being either runs off from the street itself or off the street or the grass when they're sprinkling, a place for it to go and not deteriorate the asphalt.
Great. Any other questions or comments? Tom?
And Mayor, if there's no other comments or questions, I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 2021-69 adopting an assessment as
Second.
presented.
Motion by Tom, seconded by Tina. Is Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Moving on to item 5. It's 5.1 Hunter Hills Third Edition. Dan,
Thank you, Mayor. Tamarack Development is present this evening to request final plat approval of Hunter Hills Third Edition. This is the final plat, which is in the two-step process of subdividing property, basically dotting the i's and crossing the t's on their construction and utility plans, as well as approval of development contract. The comprehensive plan guides the site for low-density residential development. It's zoned R5 district. Preliminary plat consisting of 130 single-family lots was approved in July of this year. They're proposing a first phase final plat of 60 single-family lots highlighted on the screen. Each of the lots is consistent with the layout of the preliminary plat, meets the minimum requirements of the R5 district. There are public streets being constructed as part of the final plat within the 60-foot wide right-of-way. It's a 28-foot wide street with a sidewalk on one side, which is the city's typical urban street section. The developers provided plans for stormwater and utilities, as well as the street construction, and you have a copy of the city engineer's review memorandum as part of your packet this evening. The plat has easements at the perimeter of all the lots and overlaying any drainage areas outside of those perimeter easements or within the outlots, of which there are 2. One is to be deeded to the city, which includes the stormwater basin and wetlands and wetland buffers. The other outlot is the balance of the property, which would be a future phase of development retained by the developer. Park dedication requirements for the subdivision are met by payment of a cash fee in lieu of land at the city's current fee schedule based on the 60 lots within the proposed final plat. And then the city attorney's office has drafted a development agreement for the proposed development. The developers already executed that and brought it to City Hall. So we're moving forward to complete this project and get them underway for construction. The use is consistent with the comprehensive plan. The plat complies with the requirements of the zoning ordinance and subdivision ordinance. It's also consistent with the approval of the preliminary plat earlier this year. So city staff recommends approval of the final plat subject to the 12 conditions outlined in the findings of fact and decision included in your packet, as well as approval or adoption of resolution 2021-70 approving the development contract.
thank you. Does the applicant wish to comment?
Good evening, Dan Willenbring, Tamarack Land Development. As Dan mentioned, we executed the developer agreement. We've also gave Adam this afternoon our $2.88 million escrow check for the project. We're looking forward to starting this project this week and look forward to your final approval. Any questions?
Any questions? Tom?
Madam Mayor, just a couple questions. What are you guys anticipating the price point of the homes to be at?
I would have to ask Lennar that question, but the last brochures that I saw from them on a previous development was anywhere between maybe 360 and 420 price point on the homes, depending on which model, is on the lot.
And a question that I try to ask everyone that's dealt with the city, how was it dealing with our city staff?
We've done a lot of work with the city. They've been very helpful and very supportive of us. We wish things would move a little bit quicker because we're up against a deadline. To be honest, everyone has got a lot on their plate, and we're doing the best we can to respond as quickly as possible to all the comments. But we're up against a winter wall here, and we would like to get this project and the North Water project, which will be coming in 2 weeks, paved this year. So anything the city can do to help us get started quicker would be greatly appreciated. But the staff has been extremely helpful to work with.
So all things considered, as far as city staff has been, as far as being responsive, has it been good?
Yes.
Right, any other comments? Hearing none, I will make a motion to approve the Hunter Hills Third Edition Final Plat, subject to the conditions stated by the findings of fact and decision as presented, and adopt resolution 2021-70, approving a development contract.
I
Second.
second.
Motion by Jessica, seconded by, I think Brittany said it first, Jeff. All right. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Thank you very much. I'll
Thank
see
you. We
in
did our part.
2 weeks. All right,
All
thank you.
right, thank you. All right, moving on to city council reports and updates. Does anyone have anything? For anyone out in the audience, we were already together at 6 p.m. tonight, so that's why we're a little quiet probably about that part. Moving on to staff reports and updates. Does anyone have anything there? And I will go in order. Audra.
Thank you, Mayor. The photo contest ended today for submissions, so I will be getting those up on the website this week to vote.
Did we get a lot of submissions?
There were, I think, 6 different people that submitted a grouping of photos.
Nice. Adam.
Thank you, Mayor. I have nothing to add tonight.
Sabrina.
Thank you, Mayor. I have nothing to add as well.
Okay. Dave.
Thank you, Mayor. I have nothing.
Ron, have something to add tonight.
Yes, I have an update of the trail plans,
Oh, good.
trail project.
Please do that.
Okay, so Odine Avenue, the rest of it, the last 2/3 of that was paved on Saturday. So, and then the rest of the ped ramps, the concrete is going to be poured this week. So a couple of days after that's poured, it'll be open to regular traffic. And then 70th Street, the work is starting this week. So we're hopeful that by the end of September, the project will be complete. He's lined up some really good subs to finish off a lot of this work.
And could you maybe share with anyone on the audience or for the rest of council that he is working with Omen Brothers?
Yeah, Owen Brothers has been doing most of the paving. They had a different contractor in the beginning, did a great job. I just don't know if he could keep them in town to get the work done or what the issue was, but he switched to Omen, which is fine. They do a great job too. They're the ones who were doing Heritage Hills.
Yeah.
And they're right in Albertville. I guess that's it.
Yes.
Just a follow up on that, Ron, with 70th Street, when you say that they are starting this week, what does that mean?
So the first thing that has to be done is they have to move the hydrants that are on 70th Street back towards the right of way to make room for the trail. And then also the storm sewer is being delivered this week and they'll be putting in the storm sewer and then they can build the trail over the top of those.
All right. Thank you.
And this question will probably go to you and to Dave. At the point of the completion of these projects, that's when you would be advising council because they've missed deadlines at this point and are outside of their.
Yeah, we've
timeframe.
already, at the time that the payment was cut off, that was the day we already gave them liquidated damages on the pay estimate. We'll continue to do that as we have pay estimates come forward. And then when the final payment, that discussion can be had. I imagine the contractor might come in and discuss with the council and then it's be a council decision.
All right.
I have one quick question.
Yes.
Have you reached out to Michael to let him know? on 70th?
I expected a call today at 4 o'clock. I didn't receive one, so I haven't contacted him. I could contact him
If you
tomorrow.
could call him tomorrow, that
Yeah.
would be
Yeah.
good.
I think
yeah.
it'd be a good surprise for him.
Yeah, I just usually expect a call a
On
few hours
Mondays.
before the council meeting.
Or do you actually want to see the equipment out there before you call them and say?
Right.
Yeah, that'd be a good
The
idea.
equipment, I think, is parked out there. As we
It's,
speak.
I was like, it's already there, Tom, so,
I've been out
Madam Mayor, I
last
should
couple
just
days, so
add,
I don't know.
yes.
I should just add, I did send a notice to the contractor advising them that they're past the deadline and they're subject to liquidated damages. That doesn't mean the council has to impose that. That just means I was putting the contractor on notice.
Okay,
Also, I'm not sure that was technically required because they're presumed to understand the terms of the contract they signed, but I just did that as a courtesy, so they were aware. We can be sure they're aware of the situation.
sure.
And proper notices, I would sit there and say, good job
Good on our part.
on that.
Yeah.
Obviously, anytime you give them notice, then they are aware and that helps you, us going forward. So
Right.
Appreciate that, Dave.
Sure.
I've seen the contractor many times and he was very aware. of that. He was on the trails right behind my house, so.
Yeah, but having something
No,
expressed.
no, I
versus-
agree. I agree. And also passing it on to Ron to thank Charlie for all of the things that he has. I mean, he's been out there a lot, helping him with that project or, advising, I think, on some of the things. So please let him know that we appreciate that.
Yeah, we try not to instruct the contractor how to do the work. That's up to them. We just.
Okay, well,
give them
whatever you want to call it.
suggestions As to how to complete it.
His suggestions were very welcome as a homeowner. Anything else, Ron?
Nope.
Dan?
Mayor, this evening I attended the ISD 728 school board meeting at the request of the superintendent, just to provide a brief update to them as to the development activity in Otsego. Their eyes kind of lit up when I said the population growth was 47% over the last decade, and that we're 40% ahead of building permits from this time last year. But said, we're willing to and open to working with the school district on planning for where growth is happening within their district, and looking forward to continued communication about facilities. So
It's surprising that you said their eyes lit up. I mean, all they have to do is drive through our city
Yeah.
and they would see
Or
that.
read the
and-
newspaper.
Or read the newspaper or Google City of Otsego and they would have seen that. So I always tell residents that we are passing on information to the school district, that there are things that they're in charge of building and maintaining, and there's things that we're in charge of it, but we do work as a great partner. So thank you for attending that meeting this evening and passing that information on to them.
Madam Mayor.
Yes.
I'll also say too, the meetings with ISD 728, the superintendent and other members of Elk River Council and those parties too, those meetings, I think that's always shared with them as far as growth goes. So they should know.
They should. Yes, I did get a call from the mayor of Elk River that said, wow, pretty soon you guys are going to pass us up. So
well, I did emphasize that the pace of growth is likely to continue based on our current lot supply and the plats that we're seeing come in right now. So unless something dramatically changes, I don't see how it's going to slow.
location, budget, county, there's lots of reasons people are choosing.
Water,
Otsego.
sewer.
Yeah. Thank you. Anything else, Dan?
No.
Okay. All right, if no, and Jason did let me know he won't be here this evening, so we don't have an update from him. Otherwise, a motion to adjourn would be in order.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Tom, seconded by Tina. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. The meeting is ended. Thank you all for attending.